Hello my people and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Dennis Duke is my name. If you're new, please subscribe just right down here. Below here there's that red button. Just press it and of course subscribe and become or be part of the big community on this particular channel. My name is Dennis Duke Woniala. Now today, even before I tell you about today, recently I did a story or a video about how I made my first million off YouTube. Now today somebody challenged me. He's a friend of mine called Paul. Now Paul, his real name Paul Mwirigi Mwirungi. Yes, Paul Mwirigi Mwirungi is one of my good land friends where we interact here and there. And so he asked me to actually make a video of how I actually spent my first 1 million shillings. I know this is a topic that quite many people don't want to handle, well, because many of them do mistakes, just like I am going to share with you. If you haven't watched my video on how I made my first million off YouTube, please go and look it through my channel. You'll definitely see it. If not, I'll definitely leave a link in the description, but also in the comment section. Now let's delve into the matter. How did I spend my first million shillings? Now I got my first million shillings in 2013. Yes, this is 2019, so if those are about 2013, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 6 years since I first got my first million shillings. So imagine if now I am around 29 years. 6 years ago I was possibly at 23. Yes, so at 23 I had my first million shillings. Yes, owned by me. Yes, it was out of my sweat. Like I usually say, people try to work hard but also work smart and try to work early, so that, you know, by the time you clock 55, the retirement age for Uganda, well, you're quite somewhere in terms of finances. You have attained financial freedom, at least for some period of time. Now at 23 years old in 2013, I have financial freedom of my parents, of my relatives, and so I'm earning 1 million per month or even more. But that is when I actually started earning, and this is when I got my first million. So what did I spend my first million on? Well, to be very honest, it will be really awkward to sit here in this couch and lie to you that I did anything constructive. I do not regret whatever I used it for, because, well, I'm going to share it with you, because or even before I share that, well, this is what I spent it on. One, I was a very young man, very sexually active, very active in different happening activities. That's to do with clubbing, that's to do with drinking, that's to do with so many things that, well, meant entertainment at that time. Now one of the things I did was to equip myself with clothes. I was a fashion designer. Well, lately I have gone into the formal world, so I do not design myself that much. Well, I put on a few things here and there and just decide or try to look smart. But then back then I used to put a lot of my monies into fashion, to look better than any other person. So for me, my first 1 million, I spent half of it, not even half, but maybe a quarter of it on fashion. I went, bought new jeans, bought moccasins. And by that time I think I joined university, 2013, yes, 6 years ago. I joined university, I was at campus, so I did do what? I did get those particular things that I needed, or that were meant to support me at school. So I got these beautiful moccasins, I got beautiful jeans, I got beautiful t-shirts. Yes, I wanted to show my kanyama, I wanted to show my body. And you know how university girls will be. They be wanting men with, bunyama. So I went out there and made this impression to people. And so I spent that too. We used to go out at least every single time we got an opportunity to go out. We used to go to clubs, we used to go to Amnesia, we used to go to those big clubs then. But also in Bali, I used to go to, like, would go for a trip in Bali, go to a club, spend the cash and stuff like that. So I spend that money, quite a quarter of it as well. That's about 30, that's about 600. And then the 400, I spent it splashing money on women, the girls that I was dating then. Over how many were they? I don't remember. Well, I'm able to share this because, well, I'm no longer living that kind of life. I'm a very reformed person. So the girlfriends that I used to have then, I think there were 2. Yes, I think. Yes, that's how irresponsible I was back then in 2013. So I made a couple of, investments in them. I would take them out, I would buy them this, I would surprise them here, and boom, at the end of the day, in about 3 weeks, that's how I spent my 1 million. Yes, at the end of the day, I had literally nothing to count on my first 1 million. And after 3 weeks, I went back to zero. So I had to go back to work and, well, try to find a way out. Like, I was working with Total, and so the monies would come in unexpectedly. I mean, they would come in at intervals or at times when we actually never expected it. Now, bottom line, I think I need to share some little advice to my brothers, my sisters, my colleagues, my friends, my fans, if they are there, my fellow YouTubers, subscribers who are in the same age bracket like me, any other person, any other young man who is possibly out there and would love to, make investments from their first pay. Well, when you get a job, it's usually interesting that you are actually going to earn money that you worked for, really. Not the free money we had gotten used to getting from parents and relatives. This time, it's your money, hard-earned money. Perhaps it comes at a time when you're not well prepared to handle it. So I usually advise people to first seek financial advice from people who they believe in, from people they think can advise them financially. Listen to people's life stories, listen to testimonies like the one I'm giving, because this is one of the ways that will help you secure that money, help you make investments here and there, in that when you leave that particular work, you're able to at least count something out of that money. For example, I think the best thing, or the best part that I got out of that money that I got from Total was to pay mostly part of my tuition. Yes, most of the time I paid my tuition, and for me it was a wow, because, well, paying your tuition and paying your own tuition, to many people it looks like, okay, awkward, where are your parents? But I mean, I've always wanted to live an independent kind of life where I do stuff basing on what I believe in, basing on what I want. So for me, paying my own tuition was something that I used to, take much pride in. So you need to invest in things that may not necessarily be of, great value to some people out there, but they could earn you a few dollars here and there, or a few shillings, such that you're not only relying on that job, but you're relying on a number of other income generating ventures that can help boost your income. And in the end, maybe after 5 years, you realize a change. This I'm telling you from experience. If you are a millennial, I'm a millennial too, so you gotta sit yourself down and teach yourself certain things. There are so many things you can venture into. You can set up a small business, possibly employ a fellow young man that you trust can run that. But in the meantime, as you chase your goals, I mean, many people have been caught up, when you set up something and then you're caught up between either chasing your dreams or concentrating on your job. First, chase your dreams. When you think you've attained some of them, if not all of them, because at least there are times when you can't actually attain most of your dreams. So you hit a target, you say, okay, I think I've worked in the civil service or in the public service sector or any other sector that you've worked in for 10 years. So it's time for you to now concentrate on your side businesses and let them also flourish. Give them your best. That is how you're going to be financially independent. Least of that, you're all gonna keep depending on people, keep depending on the job, which job has no job security at all. And this is the current kind of Uganda we are staying in or living in. And therefore you've got to think big but think smart, work hard but work smart, because hard work lately does not pay, but smart working does pay. And that's why I'm able to make this particular video by the help of a friend called Paul Mwirigi. Yes, that is it from me today. Until then, it's a goodbye, but make it a point to subscribe.